everyone, this is Anuradha, and today we are going to talk about intermittent fasting and why it's actually the perfect time in isolation, in lockdown, to adopt a fasting focused lifestyle. Many people have been talking about intermittent fasting, and many have adopted an intermittent fasting focused lifestyle. I personally have been doing intermittent fasting for the last 2 years, and I have found tremendous health benefits with it. Now, intermittent fasting is a really simple concept. In fact, most people who adopt this kind of fasting focused lifestyle notice that their lives or their days are much more simpler. And this is because you essentially cut off one meal or maybe two. If you are a snacker or you tend to eat many small meals during the day, then you cut out a bunch of those meals and you break your day into a fasting period and a eating period. So there's just two parts of your day, the part that you fast and the part that you eat. So a very typical fasting schedule could look like this. It could look like where you're eating in a 12-hour window, or you're fasting in a 12-hour window, and that is a 24-hour day. What I like to recommend is for people to adopt what's called a 16-8 fasting routine, which means that you're fasting for 16 hours and you're eating in an 8-hour window. Now, when we say fasting, most people get a little concerned. Does that mean I'm fasting the entire 16 hours? Well, yes, technically. But for those 16 hours, you are possibly sleeping for maybe 6 to 8 hours of that time, and the rest of the time is your actual day. Now, to be able to eat in an 8-hour window is pretty generous. This means that if you normally eat breakfast, you will just skip your breakfast and then start eating at about 12 o'clock. And that's just about lunchtime. And then if you're following an 8-hour fasting window, it means that you would eat your last meal at 8 o'clock. Sounds pretty easy, isn't it? I would say so. Although many people find this difficult. So what I suggest is that instead of just going in totally cold, what you start doing is pushing your breakfast just a few hours later into the day before you actually adopt a fully focused, fasting focused lifestyle. So my first suggestion is if you eat breakfast at 8 o'clock, possibly day 1, eat breakfast at 10 o'clock. Day 2, eat breakfast at 11 o'clock. And then by day 3 or day 4, you could be eating your lunch at 12 o'clock and skipping breakfast completely. So that is the very first round. That would be called the 16-8 fasting, intermittent fasting routine. Now there's another type of fasting routine you could do, which is called the warrior intermittent fasting. And it's something that I try to follow most days of the week. And that is a 24-hour fasting routine, which means that you're fasting for 20 hours and you're eating in a 4-hour window. Now this works for me some days. Most days it doesn't. That's why I try to go between a 16-hour fasting routine and a 20-hour fasting routine. Now, what I like about intermittent fasting is that it has so many health benefits. And you can Google the thousands of links that you'll find on the benefits of intermittent fasting. But for me, it takes away the stress of trying to figure out what I can eat for breakfast. You know, is it oats for breakfast? Is it toast for breakfast? I don't wake up thinking about breakfast because I know that I'm going to skip breakfast. And I plan on a wonderful lunch. And before my lunch, I try to drink and stay hydrated. So I wake up and I drink a lot of hot water. Sometimes it's hot water with a little bit of apple cider vinegar. And then I have a tea drinking schedule. So I try to drink a lot of teas and stay really hydrated. And then I prepare a wonderful lunch. And I try to stretch my fasting until about 1 o'clock, 1:30, or even 2 o'clock sometimes. And then after I have my lunch, I have a good 4, 5, 6 hours in which I can have things that I really enjoy having. Fruit, you know, something maybe really yummy, some snacks, some nuts maybe. But then I, for sure, try to eat my last meal at least 2 hours before I go to bed. Now, when you're fasting, it doesn't mean that you can't be drinking. I recommend drinking lots and lots of liquids to stay hydrated. But for you to be able to maintain your fast, you should not have things like fruit juices or creamer in your tea, or any sweet sodas, or any fruit juices or smoothies for that matter. Try to abstain completely from those kinds of drinks. Stick to water, to tea, and to maybe Perrier water, some kind of unsweetened sparkling water. Or if you're feeling a little nauseous or kind of, getting a few cramps, that just shows that you're lacking a little bit of sodium in your body. So go ahead and have a little bit of electrolytes. So this is one very simple way to just begin a fasting focused lifestyle, is to consider intermittent fasting, breaking your day between fasting and eating. For now, focus on just when you eat and not what you eat. And try to do this for about 4 or 5 days. Stick to the fasting and the eating windows of times, and don't worry so much about what you eat. And do this for a few days. Your body is going to wreak havoc for a little bit on you. It's going to be telling you, sending you all kinds of messages. You're going to feel maybe hungry, you're going to feel cranky, but this is only going to last for a few days. That's because that's where our habit body is kind of coming into play here. It's telling us it's time to eat. You're not really hungry. Your body's going to be telling you that you're hungry. That's because you're adapted to a certain time of eating. So try to stave off those feelings. Just push yourself for about 4 or 5 days and your body will adapt. Now, once your body adapts, your mind will also adapt. And this is when you can start to choose really healthy, hearty, great food with fantastic fats to eat. Now, once you transition over to where you're having a balanced meal with really fabulous vegetables, with beautiful colors and different tastes, this is where you begin to see the benefits of intermittent fasting. You will see benefits when you're just eating in the window, but when you change your diet to a very wholesome diet, that's where the benefits completely kick in, and you'll start to actually experience high energy and more concentration and just kind of a more intense vigor and expression of life. You'll feel lighter, your digestion will be better, you'll have better mood or experiences of life. Everything is going to change in general. And trust me, your grocery bill is also going to decrease. And that's a real plus, right? Especially in this time of isolation. Now, a lot of people talk to me about their concern over having to do lots of physical work, having to drive to work, having to be in traffic, and needing to have breakfast or needing to have snacks. Hey, that is what isolation is all about, yeah? You're stuck in your house, you can't really go anywhere, only essential traveling. This is the best time to start a fasting focused lifestyle. So in my next video, I'm going to get into a little bit of the different types of fasting. For now, I encourage you just to choose a window of time that you're going to fast. And remember that fasting time, assuming you're taking a 16 8-hour fasting schedule, that 16 hours is also made up of the time you sleep. So you're just left with 10 hours of the day that you have to stay busy, do your work, try to figure out what's happening in the day that you're not actually eating, and getting to drink all kinds of beautiful teas, from ginger to cinnamon to fennel to all kinds of teas. So make that something that you really look forward to. So with that, I really wish you well on your fasting journey. Look out for my next couple of videos on how you can really take your whole fasting experience to a different level. And don't forget to hit subscribe. Okay, take care everyone. Have a wonderful day.